Hello everyone and welcome back to another Navisworks managed lessons video clash detection workflow. In this video we are going to see how to carry out the test and analyze and assigning tasks to each team. Without further ado, let's get started. In the previous lesson, we left off here having all the clash tests created. Before I go and update all of them, let me explain you the options that you have here. Export clash test, as we did with the Codigen plugin. You can export these ones as a XML file to be able to use them in another project. When you import them, you can actually manipulate them and make some changes based on the new project. Now let's update all the clashes and figure out how many clashes do we have in this model. While it is working on the clashes, let me explain you the options that we have here in the clash detective panel. Here you've got new, active, reviewed, approved, and resolved option. Based on your project standard, you can use them. However, in the very first time when you run the clash test, you're going to have all the clashes equal to new ones because you have all the new clashes in the very first time, right? So if you make some changes between authoring and or even in this panel clash detective, you can change the status of each clashes here. All right. Now, before we get through and make some changes in this panel, let me explain you some options. If you come over here in the results tab, you can see having selected all the my test here, I've got the clashes, all right, and the items that they are intersecting into each other, right? So you can determine what kind of family and type they are. You can see here all the information about each element, right? So if I come over here and let's make some changes in terms of settings. For example, this button here, self intersect, if I deactivate this one for each element, as you can see here, it appears a yellow triangle warning sign, which means that you make some changes in this set. All right. If I go and update them again, that means these clashes are not new and they become active. Let's do this. Now, as you can see, they become active and they are not anymore new, and they changes the color of each clash. So let's shrink this down, and as you can see, you've got all the clashes in another color, right? If I go here and see, I've got red button for each clashes, which means they are all in the new status. So let me explain you display setting panel here. As you can see, if I select the previous one here and select my clash, one of them, all right, you've got some options here, and in the the preview panel in this 3D view, you cannot see your clash. All right. If I hover over here and dim other items, let's do that. As you can see, I just dimmed my all the elements, and I've got the clashes with these two colors for each item, right? Which is not really clear. If I go and hide other option, as you can see, I've got my clashes really clear, and I can analyze and see what kind of clash I've got here, right? So uh, for the analyzing of each element, you may open your properties panel from here, because if you go and select your element, you can determine what kind of element it is, and you can see each attribute of parameters here, right? So I can see there is obviously architectural wall here, because I'm working on the set that coming from the architecture set, and here is my floor, which is kind of architecture, because it's the same element coming from architectural model, right? Let's imagine that I won't assume this clash as a real clash. So I can go and change the status of this clash to resolved, all right, or approved. It depends on your project standards and how you interpret your clashes. In this case, I'm going to select approved, because resolved means that this was a real clash, and in the authoring software, my team resolved the clash, and I can see this one as resolved. So now for this one, I'm going to actually change the status of this clash to approved. And if you see here in this panel, one of clashes goes to approved one here, and during the project and cycling of the clashes, you're gonna have all these panels filled out with the numbers. So but the final goal of the clashes is that you may have the maximum numbers of approved and resolved clashes. You have to maximize that and reduce all the new and active clashes here, right? So let's scroll down and go through the let me see here. I want to find a real clash which is really important, like if I can find it here. Let's select pipes versus foundations. All right, here we've got two clashes in this set, and as you can see, here is a pipe which is intersects with my structural foundation. So this is really important, right? We don't want to have these intersections in our model. So this should be as a new, all right, and you may assign this to your team to resolve this one, right? To do so, you can use this button here, assign. It appears a window. You can choose whatever team you want. For example, in this case, the MEP team should make some changes to resolve this clash here. I'm going to write down MEP team, and you can say that um, uh, pipe clashes with str foundation. This description and assign to appears in your report, and that report is really important that your team can take a look at, and based on the element IDs in the authoring software they can find the elements and relocate them and resolve the clash. Let's hit OK. OK. Now let's start with another task, which is grouping the clashes. If I scroll down to the ones which is not a lot of clashes, because I don't want to go through every single one of them. I don't know if we choose like columns and slabs. All right, so as you can see here, I've got all the clashes in the new status, okay, and I want to group them based on their level. As you can see, they are not actually in order in terms of level. So if I hit this column header here, I can have them all the clashes not based on the clash numbers, but based on the level. So I can group them. If I go and select one of these, right click and hit group, you can change the name of the group. I can rename it R1, right? And let's do this for the rest of this set. This is really helpful when you report the clashes. That makes some a clearance way to your team, and they can easily find them. And it is really helpful for your clash process, that you can have it right like really in order. So they are all at level 04. Level 4 until here. I'm gonna group them as level 3. These ones level 2. M1, and the rest of it should be grouped as level 1, right? So you have them all grouped and it is easy to read them. I think before we report all these changes and reports, depending on your project, you may actually add some other tests. For example, if I say I want to have actually architectural model with a structural model, so you can do so manually. So I'm going to hit add test, and rename it to APF underscore arc versus like STR, right? And you have to change the select your model from the selection tab here. So if I go and select architecture in selection A and selection B, I'm going to select a structural model, right? And now let's run the test again, or you can update them all. So as you can see in this model, we've got 3,660 clashes because we group them within the model, right? So let's add another test here. Let me copy this one. Let me see what kind of clashes can we have, like, which is really important. I'm gonna say MEP versus architecture, a structural model. Now if I select electrical, mechanical, and piping all together for the selection A, and a structural model for the selection B. All right, and let's update them all again. So here I can see I have 526 clashes. All right, let's go back to the results. Let me close this panel here. And as you can see, you have all your clashes in this model. If I select all the way down here, and make a group, all right, I can see all the clashes all together just to have a general idea what I'm going through each clashes. All right. Now, I think it is pretty much for this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to see how to export and save all the type of reports. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next time. Bye for now.